Hey everybody, welcome back to L&B Outdoors. Today we got us another Fergie to work on. TO20. Got my helper out here. Let's see what we can get into. Here we go. So a good friend of mine called me up one day and says, "Hey, you want another tractor to work on? This thing ain't running 3 to 5 years. Couldn't figure it out. I think it's having a lot of electrical issues." I said, "Sure, bring it, drop it off. You know me, I love a good challenge." So I think he said it was a 55 or a 56 TO20. And for the most part, it's fairly complete. Of course, missing headlights. You know, you don't need headlights, so. There's some stuff that we've got to do to it. But overall, the tractor looks fairly decent. So, I wanted to throw out just a little disclaimer. I have already started working on this, and I don't know what happened to my footage. So there was a lot of things that I preliminary have tinkered with, mostly with the fuel system. I haven't got too much with the electronic system yet. But the fuel valve was off the tank, carburetor was off. We got all that situated, and man, I thought I was rocking and rolling pretty good, and lost that footage. So now, to catch you up to speed, we're to the point now of kind of getting into the electrical side of things. We're going to put that resistor block. We're going to hook it up. The key switch is underneath there. I'm going to take it off and see if it can't be cleaned up. Worst case, we'll throw just a toggle switch in. It's still hooked up to the original starter solenoid. And for the ones that don't know, on these TO20s, push your stick all the way over and up is actually your start. Kind of a safety thing where you can't start it in gear. There's no way to start it in gear unless you bypass that solenoid and put an external solenoid on it. There's always a way to do something. But we're going to try to get started with getting some of this wiring and electrical components cleaned up, situated. You know, we got wiring down here that's coming from the points to the coil. It's broke or corroded or hard and brittle. And then we'll ease on into trying to get it to bust off and fire. His whole deal with this tractor is he just wants to have a spare tractor. He's got a newer, decent one that he works with, but he wanted this one to have as a backup, and he wants to clean it up, paint it, kind of have like a parade tractor, if you will. Not really necessarily taking it to trade shows and tractor shows, but just have a decent looking overall tractor. And the old Fergies are hard to beat. I sure like mine. So anyway, let's get this started. Well, here's your switch, and man, it's crusty, rusty. I don't even think I'm gonna even try to clean that up or attempt it. It may still work, but why waste 10 minutes trying to clean it up and get it to work if it don't? So we're just gonna put a on and off switch on it right there on the dash. We'll just bypass this for now. Everything works right. We'll take it off, take it out of play. And if the owner wants to put a new switch in it, we can. Right now, we just want to hear this thing bust off and run. So I'm gonna try to get this switch on here and wired up. I'm gonna come off the battery portion of the solenoid, or they may come off the battery itself to that switch. Either way, it really don't matter as long as I'm getting 12-volt power. And then from the switch, we'll come off with one and we'll mount that resistor block. We'll mount it somewhere and tie into it to go on down to the coil. So let me get some of this done. I'll kind of bring you back in each stage. And it's hard to hold a camera and work with one hand, but we're gonna get there. All right, we got our switch on. That's gonna be your ignition on and off, and it runs down to your block, which is a resistor block, and then it runs from your resistor to the positive side of your coil. The negative side of the coil runs around to the distributor. Now originally this was a 6-volt system, pretty sure, so it'd be wired differently, but this unit has been converted to a 12-volt at one time, and of course we're going to run everything as 12. And your ignition coils, if they do not have a built-in resistor, then you will have to run an external resistor. Alright, well, we're going to clean this connection up. And what I mean by clean is we're going to replace this battery terminal. I'm sure that's corroded enough that it ain't going to make a good contact. Let me get in here and do that, and then we'll be back in just a minute. Alright, battery terminal is on. Remember me telling you it's been converted, because there's your 12-volt alternator. Kind of a one-wire system. Now we're going to jump back over here again, and we're going to look at our distributor. And we're going to kind of verify some things while we're here before we pop this cap off. So most of the time on your blocks, it's going to be hard for y'all to see that, but it'll say firing order 1, 3, 4, 2. This is number 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting from the radiator, number 1, 2, 3, 4. Now with that being said, the firing order is 1, 3, 4, 2. Now if I'm working on these over the years, and I'll verify, this one here will be your number 1. This is whenever your cylinder is at top dead center on number 1 on compression stroke, your rotor should be pointing to this one. This is your number 1, and the distributor runs counterclockwise. So that rotor button will run counterclockwise. So you're going to go 1 right here. This one will be 3 because it's running counterclockwise, remember. We'll trace this one down to number 3. That looks right. This is your coil wire. It's in the center. 4. So this one's number 4. Runs to number 4. And then the last one is 2. It runs to number 2. Now I will have to say, this kit that somebody has put on here previously must have been a store-bought kit. I don't even know if it's for this, because these wires, gosh, they're awfully long. And you know, I know it's supposed to get spark through them and all that, but anything electrical, you run a long distance wiring, you can always drop your amperage or voltage. In this case, even your sparkage, your voltage and sparkage, because it's got a lot of wire to travel. We may have to clean that up eventually. So we're going to get this cap popped off. We want to look at the interior of the distributor. You got 2 little clips, one on this side. See if you can get you in here and see it. You got one on this side and one on the opposite side. Now this cap will just pull right off. And everything looks fairly clean in here. There's your rotor button. Take a rotor button, it just slides off. It's got a groove that it sits on. See that flat edge? See that flat edge in that? So that's where that sits. Rotor button looks fairly clean. Don't look like it's dirty at all. You want to take your cap and flip it over. Look at your contacts. Contacts look pretty good. Your center button. That looks like it's pretty good. So right now our points are on a dwell or on a peak. And I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Maybe my camera will focus. But right now it's got a gap. To me the gap looks good, looks clean. Now to set these points, you'll need to get it on the highest point of your peak, where this piece is about right here. And I always use a business card. But if you got a set of filler gauges, you can put your set of filler gauges in it. They're generally about 15 thousandths, I think it is. I'd have to go back and look at the book. But I always just shove old business card in there, tighten it up, and then that'll be your gap that you need for your points. Condenser looks fairly new. Well, you know, things can look deceiving. So we'll just have to see if it pops off and fires. So for right now, I'm gonna get a screwdriver. And I'm going to hook up. The positive's already hooked up, so I'm gonna hook up negative. Get a good ground. Our positive, all of our wires are hooked up like they're supposed to be. So let's turn the ignition switch on and grab our screwdriver. And let's see, maybe if I can get y'all in here good enough. Let's see if there's any voltage in here or arcing. Yep. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but it was wanting to arc. So we're getting fire in here. So that's good. Step, that's the step in the right direction right there. So we'll get our button, flat side to flat side, put it back on. Feels like the weights on bottom for your advance is working. Oh, distributor's already loose too. That's nice. We'll have to tighten that up eventually. Alright, so let's get our cap back on. It's only got certain grooves it can fit in. Get our clips back on. One clip. Two clip. Alright. I'm going to turn the ignition back off for now. I'm going to clean up some of these tools and mess. We'll turn the fuel on and let's just see if we get any live action. Hang on, I'll be right back. We're getting closer, y'all. Alright, tools has been cleaned off. Just double checking everything. We're going to go ignition on. We're going to turn our fuel on. Looks like some of that old stuff is gummy coming out of there. But I know I put clean fuel in it, so it may be coming out of this filter housing. Alright, and then remember, this is your starter switch as well, all the way to the right and forward. So, let's just see what happens, shall we? Here we go. didn't even have a pop. So I'm gonna try to choke it, and then I'm gonna try to start it all one-handed. Oh, we got a pop. Y'all hear that? It popped. Let's see what else happens again. She ain't wanting to do nothing. So we're gonna verify spark and make sure we're getting some spark. So we're gonna pull this coil. And man, I sure need about 4, 5, 6, 10 hands. Let me try to set y'all up on a little tripod or something, and I'll be right back. All right, let's just see if we're getting some spark out of the coil. Here we go. It's sparking, and you know one of the reasons why I know it's sparking? I can feel it tingling. So I know we're getting spark out of the coil. It looked fairly weak though. It could be stronger than that. I don't know how old this coil is, but all right. Let's get a screwdriver. I don't think I got a Phillips out here. It's all flathead. Let's just get a screwdriver in here. Let's see if we get any spark coming out of the spark plug wires. I know it may be hard for y'all to see. Let's try that again. I'm not seeing any spark. That's not good. Let's try number 2. Wonder if it's just that spark plug wire. Nope. It ain't spark plug wire. So go back to the coil. Scratch this a nice little clean metal surface off. All right, let's try it again. Yeah, now that's sparking. That bees a sparking. So we may have something going on in the ignition side of this distributor. Let me get it pulled apart. See if I can see anything. I'll bring you back in just a second. We got in here and started tweaking, looking. I'm gonna try to sand these points again, and it's gonna take 2 hands. I can't get in here, and need one of them cameras that goes on your head. Anyway, let me get these sanded. I'm just gonna take some sandpaper, all I can find. This coarse is all get out, and I'm just gonna open these points up. See if you can see. Anyway, I'm gonna open these points up, slide this sandpaper in there, sand it, clean it off, see if we're getting a better spark. Right now the spark looks pretty weak, which we may have to get us a set of points and condensers. I don't have any of them on hand, but let's just see. Let's see if we're getting any spark now. look like it. Don't look like we're getting any spark. Well, let me keep after it. All right, we're getting spark again, but it's sure is weak. I'm just wondering if these points in condenser is not Jihan. Let's just see. They're firing. But it should be a bright arc across there. And it's not even arcing like in one spot. It's just like bouncing all around that. So I think we're going to have to break down and get us some points. But I'd love to hear this thing bust off and run a little bit. Wouldn't y'all? Let's get it put back together and see if we can get it to fire off. Alright, I'm going to set y'all up and work the choke and starter all at one time to see what happens. Fingers crossed. Ignition on. Choke on. We're getting there, y'all. Somewhere now, y'all. Woo woo. Let's try that again. All right. Wrap on that carburetor. I'm gonna turn this distributor a little bit. We're gonna try it again. We're getting closer, y'all. Alright, I'm gonna bump that distributor back the other way. We're gonna find its happy medium here shortly. Alright, I think we might be getting into some fuel issues now. Man, I don't know about y'all, but that makes me happy to hear that thing run. Woo-wee. Talk to him. Alright, so yeah, I'm sure we got a little bit of fire problem, but I'm thinking now this may be, some of this is going to be fuel problem, that carburetor not wanting to pull the fuel. So we'll have to break down and tweak with that carburetor May have to pull it off and look at it again. I had it off early. Well, it was off. I looked at it. It looked fairly clean when I put it on originally. Remember when I told you that I lost the footage? Well, guess what? We get to do it again, I reckon. Man, that's exciting though. It's nice whenever you hear something come on and run when it's been sitting for like, I don't know, 3 to 5 years. And you know, you're dealing with something that's like a mid-50s model. Gosh, that's exciting to me. I don't know about y'all, but that just gets my blood flowing. All right. Well, let me see what I can do here and see if I can figure out this carb issue. I may pull the drain bowl on it and see if I'm getting any good clean gas coming out of it. So let's set up for that. Let's take this loose and see if we're getting any gas coming out of it. Nice to know anyway. Look like good clean gas. I mean, it's a little tarnished colored, but I know it's clean gas. But I may have to pull that carburetor back off. Doggone it. I figured it'd clean up by now, but it ain't. Look at the bottom side of that plug, and I know it was clean. So yeah, they's tarnishing that carburetor. That's what's causing our issues. Man, oh man. Well, I guess it'll be to be continued. We'll be back in a little bit. All right, everybody. Welcome back. It's been about a week or two since I've been able to mess with this. Say hello.
Hello.
And so yeah, I did go back and kind of look at the video that I shot so far and got to thinking about it, and like, man, that spark is awfully weak. You know, I even referenced that. So I went ahead and picked up a new coil, new points, new condenser. So we're going to replace them. Then we're going to try to give this a go. See what happens. All right, so we're going to get this coil replaced. Here's the new coil. And of course, it says on there, external resistor required. That's what that block is. So we're going to get this coil replaced real quick. Basically, we're just going to start in the system and we'll do the coil first. Then we'll try it. And if that doesn't fix it, then we'll move on to the points and condenser. And if that don't fix it, then we're at another standstill because I did not get any plugs or plug wires. These seem to be functioning all right, but you know, like I told you earlier, looks can be deceiving. So trying to get these off, we can put the new coil on. That one was wanting to be a little bit of a booger. And I think luckily this band clamp is loose enough that this coil will slide out. Alright, so there's our old one. And we're going to put on our new one. Which is a little thicker. Well, I guess it ain't that much thicker. But I got to realize, let's see. I think that one is the positive. Double check, yep. So I always try to put the positive on the top side. In the beginning anyway. I'll spin and rotate it to help. So let's put our positive wire on. And this wire's coming from your resistor block, which is your 12 volt power coming in, but now this ain't 12 volt. That resistor block reduces the power down so it don't burn this coil up. We're going to put this one on. Boy, me and my big old fat fingers, sometimes this stuff is fun. Alright, and then take a 5/16. We're just going to tighten these wires up nice and easy. Alright, then we're going to put our coil wire back on. Now, remember me saying in the beginning right there that we're going to test it out. We're going to test each component out because it may not need everything. So, I'm going to turn the fuel on. I'm going to hook the battery up real quick. And without even giving it choke, I'm just going to try and see. Switch is on. Here we go. Right. Now let's check for spark. Get y'all turned around here and check for spark. It's sparking, but I don't know if it's any better than what it was. Let me try it again.
Yeah, it's weird.
Alright, now we'll try it with the choke just to see what happens. Alright, spark is still faint. So next I'm going to change out the condenser. And then we'll move on from that point. Take this connection loose because that is the connection that the condenser has to come off. There we go. And you ain't got to take it all the way off, just back it off enough where this will slide out. See how that is? Alright. We're going to take this condenser bracket loose. And don't lose your screws. Like I'm trying to. What a fiasco that was, dropping the screw like I told y'all not to do. But we got it back on here. Alright. Now we're going to try to get this in place. About the time we get ready to try it, it's going to want to start sprinkling and go to raining, I'm sure. There we go. Let's get this. Alright. Finally got that. Make sure our rotor ain't going to hit it. I don't think it will. So let's just see if spark's any better in the points. Wow, big difference, y'all, big difference. This rotor button back on. Cap back on. Switch on, fuel's on. See what happens. Look up there, boys. Look up there. Looks like our PTO is on. We need to turn it off. Boy, that thing's running good, y'all. Don't try this at home. Governor wants to stick a little. Listen to that thing. Goodness. Woo woo. That's awesome. We're going to let this run for a little bit. We'll get stuff cleaned up. Raining or not, we may have to go give it a test drive. Woo woo. Well, there's a lot of little things that I need to do to it to get it ready to, you know, troll around in the fields and give it a test run. There's a few things I need to button up. I need to tie up a fuel line a little better so it ain't so close to the exhaust. The hood needs to be firmly attached. I need to put the air induction tube that goes from your carburetor neck to your air cleaner. I need to put that back on. But, you know, as you see, it's raining. And it's more than I want to do to get out there and get my tools wet, camera wet, myself wet. So we're going to have to hold off until this rain quits. I don't know when that'll be. They're calling for 100% chance of rain today. I might have to come back on it tomorrow. But we're going to get this done. But man, that thing runs good, y'all. You know, process of elimination. Small little parts at a time. But for this thing been sitting up for 3 to 5 years, she's coming back to life. But we'll get it finished up. So I'll be back. All right, we got a few things to tinker with. Luckily, the rain has stopped for a second or two for us to come back out here and tinker. So I got to get a bolt in that hood, or fix that bolt that was in there. This is the air induction tube that goes from the throat of your carburetor right down here, behind here, and up to this point on your air cleaner. We got to get that installed. I would like to check water in it before we run it too long. And I may even break out the voltmeter and see if that alternator is putting out any voltage back to the battery. And crossing the fingers, we're going to take this Jewel for a test spin. So let me get some of these things knocked out and we'll be right back. everybody, that's a wrap. We got this thing back running. Now there is a lot of things that the owner will have to do. This gas tank ain't no good. It needs to be cleaned out really well, or either a new one bought. It's wanting to start running a little rough. I don't know if y'all could tell it in the video, but that's because that gas tank's just full of junk. I've tried cleaning it out. The owner's tried cleaning it out. I think it's already gummed up our carburetor again. So, hey, that's just part of it. But hey, it ran. So, we're going to wrap this video up here. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And until next time, y'all have a good one. We'll see y'all in the next video.